Today we woke up and thought about fish. Literally woke up because you can tell I have bedhead. Arlong is a deck that many people like. It's got an amazing aggro strategy with awesome color combinations of green and yellow. Yellow being a lot of people's favorite color in this card game, as you can tell. Look at this SP Nami. That card's $300 now. With that being said, it's a deck that relies on 4 cost triggers and under, and I think it's really good when we get this new EB02 support. When we get the new green Arlong, and we can combo that with the old green Arlong, and put the two together in a 5-Don turn and literally shut down our whole opponent's board and take all the tempo. This deck is one that I think is going to see a lot of play in EB02, at least as an awesome off-meta strategy. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and join the Discord down below where we're still doing our giveaway. We have it until the 27th, so 3 days from today we'll be drawing who is going to be playing in our 4-player tournament where you can win a box of PBR or OP09. So let's get into that. Let's get into the games. Let's get into the deck profile, and let's have some fun today, One Piece family. And here we go. The aggro Arlong, basically the Doflamingo of green and yellow with 4 life leaders who are not as good as Doflamingo at all, but I'm still a cool deck. Let's get into the deck. Times 2 Dawn when attacking, tap 1 Dawn, we've heard that before. Play up to 1 character, they cost 4 or less with trigger from your hand. So a little more specific, but a little more generic at the same time. Meaning that we can cheat out new characters like the new Buggy from EB02, which is a rare if you do not have any other Buggy characters on the board. Up to 1 of your leader gains double attack, which we can pair with an amazing card that we can cheat out with leader effect, Onami. So we can tap 2 Dawn, play Onami, and then play this for 4, or with leader effect, stacking a ton of Dawn on here and basically just getting a Yamato effect on our leader while cheating out 2 bodies. So that's a cool color combination right there for the green and yellow strategies. We can also cheat out bodies like Kurubi, which is if your leader is East Blue, rest one of your opponent's characters. You have the 4 cost Arlong that stops your opponent from attacking with their leader. Of course, you have S-Shark, which is unblockable, Frankie 2k counter, Kiki Nojo, which heals us a life, Sanji, which is a blocker, Cracker, which is double attack plus 1000 power, and a Jinbei, which is another 2k counter and a trigger. And you also have Hachan, but usually you don't want to cheat this guy out. To get into our newest and the best EB02 support for this deck, it is this Arlong. If your leader has the Fishman or East Blue type, give up to 1 rested Dawn to your leader, and then up to 1 of your opponent's characters, they cost 5 or less, cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. Meaning that phrasing means it cannot be rested, meaning it shuts off blockers, searchers, it shuts off attackers. Like, this has so much utility in the deck, and also the artwork is really cool, especially when you compare it to something like this. Like, this is dope. It just basically feels like it comes from the anime, but when you take something like, it just looks good. To finish off with a few niche picks, we do have 3 of the Kami, which searches the top 4, hoping to find Hody Jones, Arlong, or our other Arlong, of course. Or we can grab a 2k counter. It's not something I'm set on, but I think it's pretty solid. Of course, you have Hody Jones. You're running a green deck. This card can just win you a game, so you play it. I think it's that simple, and a lot of your opponents will try to starve you out being an aggro strategy, so if you're going against a more mid-range deck that wants to starve you out, I think this is a very good card to take your own life and, you know, continue to put on aggression and be able to counter out to save your bodies. And finally, with an aggro strategy in yellow, I think this card is so underutilized because we're gonna force our opponent down to 2 or less life, especially 4 life leaders. This card has so much impact. So I think being a 4k counter for 1 Dawn in a deck that you can cheat out bodies for 3 instead of 4, I think that's really, really strong. So let's take this deck list onto the sim, play some current EB02 format decks, and just see how we do. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I think you guys are gonna be surprised that Arlong might actually be pretty good. Similar to our red-green Odin video we did a while back of off-meta decks, and now we need to do that deck list again with the new EB02 support. So anyways, let's get into the games. This one is going to be fun. You know I love my aggro strats. Since we are in the EB02 format, let's take on the best deck in EB02. We have our combo for the next turn, meaning we're cheating out Cracker, and then next turn we play out Arlong to play out Arlong, freezing the leader. I think this is a keep. Right here, that is a keep. We are going to hold that hand hostage and use it very well. And being able to get through the blockers is going to be good. In this matchup, it's all right. We're not really too stressed about blockers. I don't think there's going to be too many here. We will have the extra Dawn to put on Cracker, so if they swing us here, next turn we can cheat out the Cracker. We should be able to hit their life once. Putting us at 3 and 3, 6 we will take here. We don't have much choice anyways, but the Hody Jones is definitely going to be good for Gum Gum Giant. We will swing 8 at face with double attack, or we can cheat out the next character that might have double attack. I think actually getting the guaranteed double attack forces 2 cards out of hand and really helps with our tempo at this point since we have the perfect hand. So this means they need to counter out of this, and they don't. So they get 8 cards in hand, which is now 9, and that's going to be very strong for later in the game, which shows you that this isn't always perfect. Here they can return 2, get 3 back, and then have a 6k leader. Swinging our face for 7, which I think we just take, because again, this card will be frozen, their leader will be frozen. We should feel pretty safe here. We could trigger this to draw a card, but it's not worth it because we need more 2Ks in hand, so we should be a-okay. We're going to swing 7, 7, so we'll go 7 here first, force out a 2K counter from hand, which they definitely should have at this point. If they don't, we're kind of in a settled spot, but of course they do, they always do. Probably would have been better to go 6 and then 8, I just wasn't thinking to the future. And we'll freeze this. I'm okay if they block out on this kind of swing, especially because we can use card action, cheating out Arlong, and then drop. I don't think we'll need Cracker at this point and freeze their leader, so now he cannot attack, and they block out rather than giving us a 2K. So we can do the same thing next turn on the Sanji pudding, making sure that yes, it stays on the board, which does suck, but we get to freeze it every time. Here they get to tap one of our characters with it costs 4 or less, probably the Arlong I would assume, and then they get to swing into it. So I guess they could go ahead and clear out this big body, but I don't know if I would. Now they'll have 6. They could have rush Luffy, meaning they could go 5 here, 2K, 7 here, 2K, which we do have. They might also play out like a searcher and a blocker again with the Tony Chopper. The Tony Chopper is interesting, making me feel like they may have Porsche. If they go 6 to 4, we're gonna let that go. We're not too stressed about the Arlong of all cards, especially knowing that we have another one in hand, so we can be slightly aggressive. We can also Hody Jones to help finish the game. Since this is a purple deck, we have 6, 7, 8K counter, meaning we're in a pretty solid spot. 5, they might play out another Sanji pudding, which would kind of suck. But again, we can freeze the 1, and then we could go into board, but I think at this point, with how the deck is, we have 6K swings at least. They leave 5 up as active. So interesting there. We're going to play this down. We are going to put 1 Dawn and rest this. We could play out another one and keep this rested. If only we had another Arlong, we would be big chillin'. We'll play this down, put 1 Dawn here, freeze that, and now we're going to go 6, we're gonna go 6, and then we're gonna go 8, and then it's like, do whatever you want. If you want to go minus Dawn, that's cool with me. If you don't, I mean, these guys can't swing, only your leader can, so we're similar in the spot that we were at earlier. We'll go 6 again. They do have the law on the deck, but we have a ton of counter. They can't make us discard 2 because we have to have 7 or more cards in hand. This is a little bit of an interesting list. It's a little spicy, but I think the aggression here is really paying off because now we're going to cheat out an unblockable character. So if they take here, it forces them to block or to counter out, right? Because if they wouldn't, it would literally cook them. Add 1 Dawn for your Dawn deck is rested, so they'll be at 7 going into 9. These 2 can't swing, but they could go 5 into face. We counter 1. They drop the 9 drop. They go back a Dawn. They get 3, 4 back now. So now they'll have 6 here. They ramp 2 back, so they have 8. They played on Nami to search the top 5, meaning we get info on what they have in hand. We did see them leave 3 Dawn as active last time, meaning they have some big counter event or they have a ton of Gum Gum Giants. Because they played the Thunder Baguio. That kind of makes sense. But they have a 2K counter Sanji, so we know 1 card in their hand. They have another Luffy. This card does basically get rushed, so they can go 6 here, which we will counter. Pretty simple and easy there. There's no reason not to. Not that they have a blocker on the board anyways, but that's okay with us. They're going to go 7 here, and we may just let that go at that point. I'm not going to sit there and fight them on it. So what we'll do here is drop down. I think we could go for the Gusto, right? Because 6, we drop this for 7. We should have game with 6. Yeah, go 6 at face first. Force them out of a card. If they want to go ahead and Gum Gum Giant this, we have guaranteed lethal at that point. Yep, they do not. So we'll rest this just in case. And then we should be able to go 8 and 8, and we should feel pretty confident in that. Knowing that they left 1 up for Gum Gum Giant means they do have 1 dead card in hand, so we know they have 2 cards here. It would have to be a 2K, 1K on the next swing, right? So we can go 8. If they counter out, they lose, so we would have to go 8 and 8 here. We could have also gone 7 with Banish, but that wouldn't be guaranteed. Not this guaranteed either, but we do at least have counter. And we win the game, because that would have been a 2 and a 1 guaranteed from the life. So we just kind of GG's to our opponent there. All right, we have Shanks here. We're going to choose second to take them off curve. I don't know if that's correct, but we're going to find out pretty soon. We have 2 El Thors helping us in the late game, which will be important. We'll get to search the top of the deck here. Probably grabbing... They can trash this. This gets us tempo, but no cards. They do have a lot of cards in hand. We don't need the Banish. We can grab us this. We can't even grab the Kikinojo, so it would have been a 2K or that. We definitely go for the Arlong in that situation. I don't know what I was thinking. They probably strap 8. Yep, hit us for 8. We take, if your leader East Blue, play this card. Sure, we'll play it out. I don't know if that's right because not that good in this situation, but we can go 8 into face, which will be 7, and then we could also go, well, we can't go 6, so I think we just go 8 into face here. We'll go ahead and use the Arlong, use this. We will see if they leader effect, and then we get our effect because that's the order of operations. It would be when attacking, then on opponent's attack, and then it's the on play. That is the order of that. We'll ditch one of these, freeze their leader, so now they can only develop bodies on the next turn, putting us in a pretty safe spot. They do counter out aggressively, meaning that this is going to be a crazy combo on that next turn. That is going to be a crazy combo on the next turn. We're going to go and swing in for 6 here, I think, because then they're going to probably kill it with Lucky Roo, at least get the value out of this. And if they don't, the blocker kind of cooks us, right? So now we can go 3 here, and then 7 with lead and cheat out the blocker, or we can cheat out the cracker, forcing double. Oh yeah, like that. We'll go 7 into face next, and then we'll go 7 with lead, cheating out the cracker, and then next turn we can go buggy Onami if we want to. Kind of depends on them, because we're putting a very aggressive body on the board with the cracker, so they're probably going to block out after we cheat out the cracker, so we could put out the Sanji instead, but I think the cracker is less valuable later in the game. This forces them into blocking out, so they kill the cracker. That's exactly kind of what I wanted to see. The blocker may be important later on, because now they're going to 7, they trash this with leader effect, or with their guy. Oh, maybe not. They don't have the Ben Beckman, which is really good for us. They're going to go 8 here. 8 into 4 is totally fine with me. Take that guy for everything he's got. Let's, we could go very aggressive here. We could go 2 for this, let's cheat this out, just go for the banish. Let's go 6 in a face and see what he wants to do. Because I do think resting this guy down would be good. He goes -1, forces us to play around a different strategy now, because we need 3, so we have 4. So we could go 7 and then cheat this out, resting this, and then play out the Sanji blocker, keeping this alive, which may be good, but I don't know if the Lucky Roo. We haven't drawn an Arlong, so I think we're going to top deck an Arlong or get one out of life soon, right? So I think going 7 into face here, use card action. I think the double attack's not going to happen. I think we go for the banish, forcing the blocker now, which is going to be really good for later, to go ahead and get that blocker out of the way, because they're not going to want to take this banish. It forces them into this to clear this, meaning they have to swing our face on the next turn, and then we force out the blocker. Because I just think with the Lucky Roo, there wasn't a way if we rest it, then it just becomes active next turn, still stopping that play. So we shouldn't sit there and force into a play that's not going to work. We do have Usopp hitting the board. We have some good cards out here. 10 into face, we're just going to take. I mean, we can easily trigger this out and discard probably the Karubi, because they're going to start dropping big bodies, so Karubi's not going to do as much. So now we can go really heavy into face with double attack, or we can swing a lot of times into face. I don't think we're scared to hit him in the face. Let's go 8, and then let's go 7 to get a card out of hand maybe, and then go really heavy with the double attack, because we're not scared to lose these blockers. If he's forcing into the blockers, they're basically doing their job, right? So if we go 8, he gives us a 2k. He has to wait to leader effect here. So if we go 8 with the leader, he just minuses 1. So I think I'd rather get the 7 here, getting a card out of hand, and then go 9. Yep. So 9, and then he shouldn't be able to get out of this. We give him double attack here, and we have a full body. So he can choose to go -1, which obviously he should. There's no reason not to at this point, because you haven't used it yet. And then we give our leader double attack, forcing 2 cards probably out of hand, because I don't think they want to take that. They give us a 0 and a 1, so a 0 cost event and a 1k, meaning this is probably a big body, a 10 drop, which is pretty solid there. We'll give them a 2k out of hand, and then they get to clear a different body on the board. Actually, they get to clear out both bodies on the board. Pretty solid there. And we don't really have a way to deal with 10 Shanks, right? So we could 3, freeze this, and then swing heavy into face, and then force them on a timer, leave 1 up, which I think is good here. So let's think 3 gives us 1, so it's only 2, so that leaves us 1, 2, 2 for leader, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we should probably go 6 here. We'll see, we'll basically check their hand. If they want to counter out of this, you know, that kind of isn't smart to me. I think you just let that go. And then we go 6 again. No, that would only be 5, right? So we tap 3 here, give 1 rest at dawn, make sure that guy can't rest himself. So now we know we can go 4 on Onami, and then we can go 7 with leader. No, because we need 1 up. So I guess we're just gonna go really heavy with leader, because we need 1 up to make sure we don't die. And then we have to win on the clapback, basically. So we will not cheat out a body, which is something we didn't think about. We're not even bringing a body out, so we didn't need leader effects. We have 2 as active. Some active characters, only 2 swings to go against. We do have the El Thor, so we put them in a position where I feel like you have to go for game soon. This can kill this kills this kills this with the swing right there. So that does suck, putting us in a very tough spot because we don't really have rush unless we pull Hody Jones right here. They go 8 here, which we will not counter out of. I don't think it's worth it. I think I'd rather them swing the 12 to maybe get the trigger. If we get the trigger, we're in a good spot. We do get the Onami banish, but I think that's better just to clear out the Usopp to try not to lose on the next turn still. But it looks like we lose on the next turn still, unless we can hit on, what, 8 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has to be 8 and 8. So let's go 8 into face, see what happens. We're not cheating out any bodies. We need the counter. If they take this, we're going 9. And this is a tough matchup for us, guys, because they do get the 1K counter. So on an aggro strategy, Shanks is really good. They have 8, so they only need 2 2Ks, which they do have, but we had to go for it. Oh, they didn't have it. Hey, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot better now. I thought we were cooked. I thought we were done for. GG's. On to the next one. Last game of the day, man. I want to take a good matchup. Like, this is going to be a tough one for us because they do have pseudo rush, but they don't want to take on this deck, dude. It's just too good. That's going to be in the video because we're just too good. They don't even want to take on a good deck. All right, to finish it off, we're going against Monkey D. Luffy, and we're getting the worst curve possible because obviously you're a purple deck. You want to take first here, I would assume, especially away from this deck, which really likes to go first. So I also think that's why that last matchup was a little more difficult because we didn't get the first. I think the Arlong could be good here, but there's not much else that's good. The Onami doesn't do too much until later, and then we have to be able to swing like to even get the banish off. They don't have a lot of life anyway, so I don't think we're too worried about banish. I think we mulligan and see what we get. This is definitely a little better. It's not good for the early game. They will get the first swing, so I mean we could go Arlong first, really take on the tempo here. They go 7, and then they have 2 for something, maybe some kind of chump blocker. We're going to take, not use the Arlong trigger. We could double Arlong. That could be crazy here. We are going to go 8 into face here, meaning that they're going to probably not take that. We're going to use the card action. We're going to ditch. Do we need this many 2Ks? I think we get rid of Karubi. Karubi could be good on this next turn to get rid of the chopper, but then that's just blocking at that point. So let's get rid of the Karubi and stop their leader from attacking next turn. They should probably block out early. Yeah, I would think so. But that gives us all the tempo. Nothing they can even strap up to and swing us in the face. Like, should be pretty safe here because we can't do it on the next turn because obviously their leader won't be rested. This has to do a rested leader here, but we can see what we can force out. If anything, we can be very aggressive. And my cat's jumping on top of my computer console, which you're not allowed to do, Big Mom. Everyone, say hey to Big Mom. Say hi, Big Mom. They can't swing. They couldn't do anything there. We are going to go 6 in the face, and then we are going to use this banish this time. We're going to go 2 here. We're going to go 8 in the face, forcing them to counter out. They could Gum Gum Giant. Hey, if you want to Gum Gum Giant, go for it. At this point, we're going to go for the unblockable because this has no effect. This won't have much effect even if we do hit them. They use Divine Departure. This deck uses Divine Departure? I did not know that. Or I would have done the 8 first. I would have thought about this or like done more on leader. But hey, only so much you can do. Only so much you can do. They have 7 here. They could Beckman. It looks like they want to hold up a lot of Dawn, though, so who knows? They could just go 8 here, I'm assuming. I would probably say 8. Yep, looks like 8 into Arlong. I don't think you'd swing face here. They ramp 1 up. They may go 9 into Arlong, meaning they would force us out of 2 2Ks. Is that worth the trade, 2 2Ks at this point of the game? I don't think so. Especially because we can drop another Arlong next turn and feel pretty safe about it. We could also go Hody Jones, which would be a great finisher for later on. I like the idea, though, of forcing them, you know, into what we're doing. I'm not dropping the Hody Jones yet, not worrying about this body as of now. This won't have double attack, but it'll be a good body to get on the board. So we can just go 6 in a face. We're dropping a 4, which will be the cracker, and then we're going 8 again, meaning they could Divine Departure again, but again, it's still just getting cards out of hand. This will be 1 card. The Arlong, or the leader effect, will be 1 card, maybe 2. We don't know until we do it, so let's go 7 into face here. Just going to get a 2K, cheating this out, using the card action, and we'll ditch one of our 2Ks to freeze this from attacking next turn. Really giving us a lot of tempo there, and then we'll play on a 4 drop, meaning we still have 4K counter, so we're in a pretty good spot. We'll have 3 bodies on the board, and we will have, again, enough counter to get through whatever we need. We did 7, so they didn't use any effects. They would have to do a 10 Shanks here, or a big 9 body, going -1 Dawn, having 2 active to get back to where they were. They can go 6 here, we'll give them a 2K, and then some kind of rush option to clear out this body. We could also just let this die for the 6, and then whatever rush body they play just hits face. But then they might 9 Mamas, and then gain a life, go -1 Dawn, have 2 active again. And then that would put us in a very bad position because then they wouldn't be swinging our life. And again, this does not have any effect in this matchup. None at all, because they start at 3 life. There's not much they can do. They do play the Rayleigh though. Rayleigh, not so good. Not so good for us. We're gonna have to let that go. There is not much to do there. We could also go very aggressive here. We can go 3 into this, see if it will try to save it. We'll go 3 here. Do you want to save this? We could drop this for 7. We could also just force more cards out of hand. I think we force more cards out of hand. We'll grab a 2k counter. I don't think we'll need 2 Hodies. We could have grabbed 2 Hodies to finish off very quickly, but with only the amount of Dawn, it would be a 7 and then an 8, and they get out of both those pretty solid. Well, no, because then we freeze it, get rid of the 2 Dawn, so maybe that would have been the play, but I think just going 5 and 8, so we're going 8, and then we're going to put the rest on leader and cheat out. Actually, we're not even cheat anything out, so we're just going to go 11 into face after this, I guess. We could have gone a little more, but, I mean, it's okay. We're going to just go heavy into face and then try to finish them off next turn. We're just trying to get cards out of hand right now. We're going to leave 1 up in case we get an Elf Thor out of life, so we're going to go 10, forcing them into a Gum Gum Giant here. And we will have the Hody Jones for next turn, basically just to finish the game. That should finish the game if they take this life, because we can rest any of their Dawn. We can rest a blocker and a Dawn. They use a Dawn now, meaning they use the Blast Breath and then still give us a 1k. They'll be at 10 Dawn. They don't have a way to finish us. We have 6k counter. I actually thought this was going to be a really tough matchup, but Hody is the clutch MVP of our purple matchups, especially for any of the Luffys, anything that just ramps up like crazy and plays the 1-cost Gum Gum Giant. This is the card that helps you in those matchups. Any green deck needs to be playing this card. We're going to let that go. We're not worried about the board too much. You can clear out my board as much as you need to. They play 7 Kid, have 3 still active. They have 4 active. They should go 9 into face here, right? I would at least expect that. They go, ooh, they left 1 over. We could counter out, but I think we just take. Kind of them in a position. Ooh, Hody Jones. We're gonna rest 2 Dawn. They have 9. I think we're just gonna go for, do we go all in on 1 character? Do we go 7 and then 9? Let's go, or we go 8 and 8, force 2 2Ks out. I think 8 and 8's better here, just because, let's see how many 2Ks they have used. None. So would it be better to get the 2Ks out and then Hody Jones on the next turn, force them to go for game on this next turn? Because we have 8k counter. We could go 7, 8, cheat out Arlong, forcing this to be unable to swing, and then ditch one of our 2Ks. I mean, have only 2 swings, they have to get lethal on. But then if you just split between the 2, 13 and 13 would win if they did do Arlong. Oh, but it would stop their attack, meaning we'd have to drop the Hody Jones on the next one. I think that's the play. Crazy enough, I think that's the play. We'll use this. We'll cheat this out, use card action, get rid of this, stop this from attacking. So we're gonna go 7, get a 1k, and then 8, get a 2k. More than likely they take the 8 looking for options. And I think we have enough counter because we had to give them the Hody Jones there. It should just be a simple 2 1s or a 2k, whatever they have. They should still have this. They do Gum Giant on a 2k, which is crazy, but it's kind of what they had to do. It looks like they haven't found 2ks yet, meaning they probably just drew 2 of them. So we need to really be able to get through this next turn. This card can't attack, which is really good. But 8 and 8, again, 13, 2, 4, 6, 13. So we need a 1k counter if they split evenly. If they don't split evenly, I think we just lose. I think we just lose if they don't split evenly. So we'll have to see how they do it though. Because I mean, you could just go 8, which we counter out of. And then you could go 8 again, and then you could 10 Shanks. But we can get out of both of those because we've set ourselves into the position to have all these 2Ks. And then we just go 10 in the face. 7 for Sanji. That's kind of crazy. So how do they split this? You have to go 9, 9, right? So all we need is a 1k counter, because 9 and then 9. Yep. So we take the first one, we get a 1k counter, we win. We don't, we lose. If they go anything less than 9, we win. But if they go 7 and we counter out, they just clear this out. But then we put 10 here, so that's fine. Ooh, we go 9, 10, so they could force us into a 2k if they split it correctly. They could also just go 8 and then, yeah, it looks like 9, 10 is going to be the move here. If it would have been 9, 9, we would have been fine. That's crazy. That's the matchup. You never really know. They still had the Gum Gum Giant and a 1k counter. We were pretty set. They did not find any counter, but this deck runs a lot of counter events. It looks like they are going more in the counter event way, because I mean, you can see this full stack of counters right here. So I think that's a good deck. I think that was fun, but I think we have a tough time into purple. Like literally Hody Jones is the only way to win, and then we weren't set up in the position to win with Hody Jones. So GG's our opponent. Let's get back to the deck list, talk about the deck, and then move on with our lives into probably a different YouTube video, because you're probably just deep diving into a ton of One Piece videos, and you should probably take a break. You should probably, after this video, finish the full video so I get my watch time up. But after that, take a break. unless you're watching more of my videos, then sit here and binge watch all night and let's have some fun. Let's hang out, you know, join the Discord. As you saw, that was the deck profile. I mean, when it high rolls, it high rolls. When it doesn't, you know? So it's like, this Arlong is super clutch, but when you don't find it, I think you kind of just have a tougher time. I mean, saw that in that last matchup where we did not get this character. Not that they had too many big bodies, but imagine how this would have felt on the 6 to, you know, stop that blocker from blocking and swing in heavy with a double attack, forcing cards out of hand. Like, there's so many options with this card, especially getting the Rested Dawn and then freezing a 5 cost that's active. Like, that's crazy, and you don't see that too much in green. So I think this card's really good and could really help a lot of other decks if they got cards like this. Literally very similar effects. I think this card could be so good. I think it's a solid deck. We couldn't see the El Thor too much. I think the El Thor is okay. I think maybe not as a 4 of. I think we could go up a Kami, maybe more triggers and stuff, but that's kind of for you guys to decide. Per usual, our call to action is comment. Comment down below what you feel like we could do differently in the deck. There's so many different options for this deck. I think it was a fun list that I kind of threw together more recently, that, I mean, I've been playing The Sims so much with this list because it's kind of just fun just to kind of not have to think too much. Yes, when you hear me yap a lot, like, it sounds like I'm thinking a ton, but usually I'm just no-braining it and just running it down. But for you guys, I try to be as descriptive as possible, especially for the new players. You know, a lot of people don't know how to think. I know that sounds stupid, but you don't know what you're thinking about when you don't know what you're doing yet. So I try to give you guys the most value out of the videos and the content. So as always, all I ask for is for you to like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and let me know what kind of deck profiles you want to see next, or leave it in the Discord to let me know in the Test My Deck or any of that kind of stuff. We'll be testing your decks. Also join the giveaway, and I love you and your mama. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.